In this video, we're going to talk about the data we have to manage in order to make sure that the product is selling well. And these can also be referred to as KPIs. So we'll need to not only track data, we'll need to analyze the situation and what's going on. We'll need to make sure that our product is communicated properly, and we'll want to monitor our inventory. And usually this is up to the customer. So make sure that the client is doing this. Just make sure that they don't run out, because it can really kill all the momentum you have. So what kind of data are we tracking, and why is it important? Well, we want to know where we are and what we can improve upon, or what we can do better, or what we're not doing well enough. So today we're going to talk about what we want to track. And so the easiest way to do this is to create a spreadsheet or log, include the date, the price of the product, the overall sales rank, the total number of reviews, questions and answers, how many of them there are, any negative reviews, and look at listing to see if anything has changed, like the images, bullets, description, and additional sellers. What you might also want to do is take a picture of the actual number of stars that a listing has, because they can quickly lose these for some reason or another. So we can do this all by looking at the reports that Amazon makes available to us. So to get the report to actually track most of this, go to Reports, Business Reports, and on the left navigation bar, click by ASIN, and then click on Detail Page, Sales and Traffic, and update the date range on the top right-hand corner to whatever date you want the information for. If I wanted it for yesterday, I would go back tomorrow and get this, locate the ASIN, and find all this information, including the units ordered and other data. This report can tell you how many units sold, how much the sales were, the number of people that viewed your actual product, otherwise known as sessions. It can also track the unit session percentage, otherwise known as the conversion rate. And lastly, when you track inventory, try to have your actual client keep the number of quantity on inventory, notify you of that. But if you want to look at it yourself, go to Inventory, Manage Inventory, paste the ASIN, and you can actually see the inventory in stock. Now, a couple other reports that you'll want to be able to get familiar with and work with are the returns report, which is going to tell you why someone returned this. And I'll try to pull up an example here in a minute, but the reason this is important is because it tells you if there's any potential problems that your product could be facing. We have had, on our dropshipping account, we've had to liquidate a bunch of floats, like pool floats, because we had a problem. When they came out of China, they had a bunch of defects, and we kind of got screwed, and we've had to liquidate those and try to get rid of those as many as possible. And by analyzing our returns report, we caught this very early on, so it didn't affect our actual account. So you want to pay close attention to why people are returning. And again, this can often be an actual sign of a problem waiting to happen. You'll also want to track keywords that you feel are relevant or you are trying to be ranked for. And there are actually keyword trackers out there that will do this for you so that you don't have to do it by hand. The problem with most tools, though, is they are delayed. So I like to use a higher end tool that's kind of expensive. It's about $97 a month. It's called Seller.tools, and it actually has a button that you could just click on each keyword to get the current actual ranking. So if you want to know the ranking right now, you click the button and it tells you. But again, you can do most of this by hand when you first start until you get a big client that's able to pay for all these tools for you. And I also used to track keyword rankings by using a VA in the Philippines. And I'll show you Seller Tools right in a minute here. So what you want to analyze is why things aren't selling. What's different? What happened? You have all the data right in front of you, so you almost work like Sherlock Holmes to try and figure out what the heck's going on. Was it that you just ran out of stock? Is there a hijacker, which we're going to talk about in the next module? Is PPC still generating sessions? If you recall, in the last PPC module, I talked about when you're getting a low amount of impressions, make sure that you're bidding a high enough amount. Also pay close attention to how many people are landing on your page. Is there the same amount of people that landed a couple weeks back when you were doing well? So all this information you can actually dissect and figure out what the problem is. Here are some common problems. If you're not getting any sales, you want to first check the daily sessions, which is the number of people that are landing on your page. Overall, an average listing converts at 5 to 7% of sessions if it's well optimized. I've had some listings convert as high as 39%. So the magic number that you shoot for is 15%. If you're not anywhere near 15%, try to dissect each of these and go backwards until you can figure out what's going on. If you aren't getting any sales, it means you don't have enough traffic or you're not converting. Common solution is if your images are good Is your listing optimized? How many sessions per day? Are you running PPC even? Is your price competitive? How well do you rank for your top keywords? And what is your conversion rate? These are all the questions that you should ask yourself if for any reason you stop selling well. So let's talk about the order flow and how a customer comes across your actual product. A customer can search for a keyword term and then they click through your listing for two reasons, right? You pop up for the keyword or your image makes them click. They look at the rest of your listing and they decide to actually buy. So here's potential problems that you have to analyze for, like a CSI. All the data is there for you within Amazon's report. You just have to figure out what is going on. So you have to monitor communication on your product in three different ways: with buyers, with Amazon, and with potential customers. So let's go through each of those. Pay close attention to emails. You might get emails that say ASIN change notification. You might get an email to fix stranded inventory, and you might get an email that you have unfulfillable inventory in Amazon. And you'll also get an email when a seller initiates a refund, which means that somebody has refunded on your product. So you want to reply to those and find out why. Pay close attention to each of these emails that were sent from Amazon. You also want to pay attention to the listing itself. You'll often get questions and answers, and you'll get positive and negative reviews, as well as requests to change images. Pay close attention to those and don't let anything or anyone change your images. In order to monitor your account, there's several things that you'll want to do and monitor. You can also have a VA do this. You want to make sure the inventory stays in stock. You want to stay on top of things, make sure there are no hijackers, and you want to pay close attention to your performance metrics. And here is where you will get a notification from Amazon. You'll get a little red flag at the top corner on the left if you got a performance notification. You'll also want to make sure you stay on top of your account health, and then internal emails. Try and answer these internal emails at least twice a day. So I have a VA that works in-house that does customer service and answers emails twice a day. So here's what you'll want to monitor in order to avoid suspensions. You want to create a routine to monitor each of these daily, weekly, and monthly. So we'll go over those here in a second. But take clues from each of these to prevent suspension or performance notifications. For example, let's say you had a multiple amount of returns and you look at your returns report and it says you've got quite a few defective items. Suspend the listing yourself and figure out what's going on in the manufacturing process before Amazon suspends it, and then you have to file what's called a plan of action to appeal the suspension. So you want to figure out what's wrong yourself. And also track your inventory. Try to always be aware of how many units you have. And that pretty much in a nutshell is most of the information that you should be tracking. So I will see you in the next video.